This isn't a gun problem. It's a people problem. And you know it. Let's stop with the propaganda and focus on the real issues here. When a person has decided because of their mental health instability, they're going through a crisis, whether short in duration in a rampant rage of violence or a deliberate, long thought out process where they've lost their mind, evil people do evil things on this planet, in this country. So they decided on their own accord that they were going to take human life. I don't know the motivation, but I know people are hurting in this country. Suicide, overdose, crime, homelessness, even shootings are up across the entire country. The first thing that most people will default to, because it's easy, you don't have to think, you don't have to dig in the weeds, is let's go after the guns. And the national media and the politicians certainly have already. But they're lying when they're telling you guns are the issue. Guns are not the issue in this country. People are the issue in this country. But not just people, because sometimes people make mistakes. But when you take somebody who is hell-bent on conducting acts of violence against innocent people, no matter the tool, they will do whatever's necessary to take human life. And that's what happened here. Here's an interesting thing we should wrap our heads around. How about instead of focusing on policy that focuses efforts on a tool, we focus on policy that protects our children in schools no matter what? Because the collaboration here between parents and outsourcing their education is when I put my children in your hands, whether it's a private business, a private school, or a public school, should take care of my child. There are more security in most states at Walmart in the parking lot than there are in their schools. Or if we invested like we invest in our banks, as your taxpayer dollars invest in politicians being protected by arms, by security protocols in institutional buildings, as the Walmart parking lot gets in the roving patrol of a security guard, your money in your bank is better protected than your children and your institution you've outsourced, and that's a problem. So the start point here is, yeah, we could talk about guns. And Colion Noir and all these people that are very educated on the statistics coming from a legal perspective can educate you about the nuances that matter. Like more guns are used to commit suicide than they are in violent acts. But they won't tell you those numbers because they have an agenda. Guys, on September 11th, 19 terrorists with box cutters killed over 3,000 people in this country. Let's stop with the propaganda and focus on the real issues here. The number one issue that we can get behind is we need to protect our children in institutions that we outsource. I don't care if it's your local daycare or your local public school. The conversations that you could affect now are in your own backyard by talking to your mayor, your sheriff, your superintendents, everybody involved in the process of creating legislation to make change in your school district. You need to be talking to them right now. What are we doing to protect them?